Hello, this is Austin, and this is my 100th time trying to film an intro. Today we are discussing the career and creativity of Wichita State alum Julius Thomas III. He's had a pretty cool career, and so I thought we'd just dive in and... Alright, so Julius comes from
Gary, Indiana.
He goes by the name JT3 with his close friends, so including me, we're on that first name basis. And he started out more as an athlete than a performer. He was really into sports and stuff, and in high school, and then what happened? During an off season, instead of just quote going home every day and sitting around, he decided to audition for the school's musical, Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat by Andrew Lloyd Webber, famous for hit shows such as Phantom of the Opera and
Cats.
He and the other students had to sit around in a circle and audition and sing for each other. I can barely sing in front of an audience of myself, and it's stupid. Being a natural badass at singing, he snagged the lead role as a freshman in high school and decided to just keep exploring theater and what it could do and what he could do with it, and yeah. Picking the school, JT3 is a proud alum of Wichita State University. While he was here, he got to play the lead role in his dream show,
Dream Role,
the leading player in the musical Pippin. He won an award for it, and the show won a lot of awards for it, and professors to this day still tell us it's better than anything I've ever done. So that really makes me feel good. He discovered Wichita State through a national exchange program, and so he was going to school in northern Iowa, and his professor was married to the dean at Wichita State at the time, and she was like,
"Oh, you love going to school there, so you should."
And then he was like,
"Cool."
And so then that's how that happened. Proving to already be a giant in the musical theater world, Julius probably would only Julius could just look in the mirror right now and find all the inspiration he needs. But even the master needs to be even the masters need to be students. Julius is a fan of many performers. He always has incorporated their inspiration with his own abilities. One of his favorite performers is Norm Lewis, who's an actor, and he always grew up trying to emulate Norm Lewis. It's cool. One of the first Broadway shows he did, he was in it with Norm Lewis. It was Porgy and Bess. Would literally just be so cool. Another hero of his is Meryl Streep. He just admires the way that she acts and commands presence on film. He likes to incorporate a lot of that philosophy into his own teaching. Acting. Offstage, he likes to be at home, jamming to the Jackson 5, writing his own music, hitting the gym, getting the gains, shooting and topping it off with cooking and baking. He's gotten to do a lot of it since we're all in prison, in lockdown. Writing his own music is a creative outlet for him, and he gets to express stuff that he doesn't get to express when he's performing other people's written work in like a Broadway show or something. What is this even about? So Julius has done a lot of Broadway shows. His first one was Scottsboro Boys, which is based on a really controversial court case. Controversial plot line, controversial story. The story was really revolutionary to be told on Broadway, and the way they staged it was really cool, and so it was a huge thing he got to be a part of, which I think is awesome. Other than that, he was in Motown, the musical. He got to play Berry Gordy, who's the founder of Motown, and he actually got to perform Motown for Berry Gordy. He came to the show one night, which I think is horrifying and something I would suck ass at. He was in Porgy and Bess with his hero, Norm Lewis. He got to be in Xanadu, which is one of my dream shows. And then Hamilton, of course, which is everyone's dream show. And now we're gonna cut to Julius to hear his thoughts on how his career has been so heavily influenced by a lot of shows that deal with representation and promote that in the Broadway community. Julius? I guess he couldn't make it today. However, I do have a quote from him on it, and this is what he said. Julius said, "The chips have just always sort of fallen that way. I love telling all kinds of stories. I find that when telling stories about real people, there's a heightened sense of responsibility, even more so if they are living. It can be stressful, but it's ultimately more rewarding, especially if the living person likes your portrayal. I guess you could say that playing a real person carries a lot more weight, but the results are more weighty as well." I asked him what was challenging about and how you can be creative when you're playing someone who exists. He had some pretty cool stuff to say, actually. He sees it as like a challenge and like part of the fun to play someone who already exists. He says acting is acting, and whether he's playing leading player, fictional guy, or he's playing Alexander Hamilton or Berry Gordy, people that actually lived, he still gets to, you know, experiment with acting and storytelling and has a great time doing it. Getting to talk with Julius for a little bit was extremely cool and rewarding. I've always heard stories about him and stuff since I've been at WSU, and so it was really cool to get to actually like talk to him. And
It was really cool.
like for me as an artist and as a creative person to get to talk with someone else in that kind of way, I was a big fan of the project. Thank you for watching, and I'm sorry that I couldn't get Julius in on this video, but maybe next time, you know, so bye.
Right now I'm in a state of mind. Oh, what is this? I know Austin is not trying to Zoom call me again. No. I do have to hand it to him though. He's got great hair.